What's happening, YouTube? I have purchased a tripod. I'm moving on up in this world. Doing my reset right now in Sydney, Ohio. I've got to deliver some Amish hardwood to Pica, Ohio tomorrow. It's like 10-15 minutes down the road. So I'm getting some layover pay. Got old Swift right beside me. So, and this guy, he I think he's new or something. For one, he's got a cooler in his window right there, and he's got the same truck I've got, and he's got an APU. So I know he's got outlets in the back. The reason I think he's new is because his strapping job and his tarping job. I don't know, maybe he was in a hurry, maybe he's only delivering like a mile down the road or something, but oh my God, he is missing some straps. His pipes have shifted too. I want to get out there and untarp him and redo all his securement and then put his tarps back on, because I think he's sleeping right now. Actually, I think he's doing a reset too, because he was here before I got here yesterday and he hasn't moved at all. And the truck's been running the entire time, so maybe he's knocked out in there. Maybe he's tired. Got really bright out here. That's the first time the sun's came out all day. So if you're ever in Sydney, there's a Love's. I think it's like a year or two old, but it is super clean. Like, it is really good. I actually did laundry here a little while ago. Had to wash some clothes because I was running low on my drawers. My little Bluetooth thing that come with my tripod it's working, but it's not working. It did it again. I was gonna say go to Walmart and get one of these things, but maybe not. Maybe just use the tripod. Don't turn this little thing on. So anyway, what I was saying, a couple of pro tips. When you're untarping, this reduced my time. It was taking me like hour and a half, 2 hours to untarp and unstrap a full load, whether it be lumber or steel or whatever, because we have a tendency to tarp freaking everything. But what I do, take all my bungees off, pull the tarps off, and you want to pull the tarps towards the front of the truck out of the way. That way you can fold them up while you're unstrapping, and then you can be getting unloaded while you're rolling your straps and folding your tarps. So what I do, pull the tarps towards the front of the truck, get them all flat and pretty and everything, and then stack them on top of each other, preferably in direct sunlight, especially while it's cold, because those tarps are a pain in the butt to fold while it's cold. It's like folding cardboard. It's pretty much impossible. So you put them in direct sunlight, stacked on top of each other, stretched out, in their perfect little squares or rectangles, whatever they are. That way the sun heats up the tarp and the air in between the tarps and the air in between the tarps and the ground. Everything is a lot more flexible by the time you're done rolling your straps up. So now, you got your tarps towards the front of the truck, out of the way, stretched out and everything. Now you can start unstrapping. Take your straps off. Once you get your straps off, let the forklift driver know, hey, you can start unloading me now. Worst case, you're rolling your straps up prior to that, because he doesn't want to, risk damaging your straps, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, so let's say you're done rolling up your straps. Forklift driver's unloading you. While he's unloading you, or while she's unloading you, you can fold your tarps up. Man, that cut my time down to an hour. I think it was 45 minutes or an hour on 2 loads last week. And fleet manager was like, wow, you're already done? Yes, sir, I'm already done. Give me another load. Yeah. So do that. See that back there? That's the super trucker parking in the back. In case any of y'all are wondering where to go when you get here, this is in Sydney, Ohio. And then over here, there's a car hauler with some Porsches. Hot damn, we ain't the only ones that pre-trip. Do it, CFI. Second pro tip. These trucks, and nobody's going to tell you this at Roehl. And actually, I think it's a Freightliner thing. Smart Pass. So we're governed at 65 mile an hour, which is perfectly fine. I get to all my places with plenty of time. But there are those occasions where somebody is going a tad bit slower than we are, and you kind of need to get around them. So say you're approaching somebody. This is where it'll come in handy. You got your cruise set on 65. So do they, but the speedometer, tires, you know, something's a little off. So they might be going 64.8 mile an hour, and you're actually doing 65. So you're gaining on them, but not fast enough. And so you get over in the left-hand lane to go around them, and you see traffic building up behind you. Everybody's getting aggravated because Roehl's taking so long to pass somebody, and then this guy don't want to slow down to let you over. So in this scenario, you use Smart Pass. How do you use Smart Pass, you ask? I'm gonna tell you. So it doesn't matter if your cruise control is on or not. You pump your throttle 3 times all the way to the floor. 1, 2, 3. You got to do that within 5 seconds. You know, all 3 pumps have to be within 5 seconds. And then a little screen's going to pop up. It's going to say Smart Pass active. 20 minutes. We get 20 minutes a day to do 67 mile an hour. Now, I don't condone doing this whatsoever. I think I used it once for like a minute and a half yesterday. But what you do, you pump it 3 times, it pops on, and then you just hold the throttle down. Until you get to 67 miles an hour and hold it there. That'll give you that little extra push to get around somebody. So, how about that? I was super excited because it came on in the past, and I was like, what is this? It came on one time, and I got up to 67, and then it went away, and I was like, no, come back. How did that happen? But you get 20 minutes to do it per day. It resets at midnight every night. So if you use, and you can't accumulate time or anything. So let's say you turn it on, you use it. Once you slow back down below 65 mile an hour, it'll cut off. Not that the engine won't cut off, but the Smart Pass, the timer will stop. So if you need to use it again later in the day, you can. So you're welcome. And he is still pre-tripping. That's what I'm talking about. Look like me out there every morning, grabbing on things, checking on fluid levels. Look at him, he's checking his oil right now. CFI coming off the top ropes. So some stuff I forgot to mention in the truck tour video. Actually, I typed it out in the description, but who reads YouTube descriptions, right? The Keurig and the Xbox. See, held on by Velcro. Velcro them suckers down, or they will go flying. Also, that microwave right there, whenever the opti-idle is on, it vibrates like crazy. Mine does. I don't know if y'all's will or not, but mine does. It's an annoying vibration. I got some socks stuck up under it right now to stop. Don't laugh at me. And then I like to wrestle alligators in my dreams, so I move around a lot when I sleep. So my little water bottle situation over here actually holds my sheets down while I'm sleeping at night, and it didn't like pulling on my feet or anything, so I still got plenty of room. And back here, I ended up buying 2 more pillows because there's a big gap right there, and my other 2 pillows always fall down in it while I'm sleeping, and I wake up with a kink in my neck. So maybe spending a few extra dollars, you can get you some more pillows. Tuck back there. I was actually looking for pool noodles, but you know it's below 30, and they don't sell pool noodles. All right, so back to the video, or what the video is about. Let's talk about making some money with Roehl. So I'm gonna show you. I'm not showing you my check stubs because I recorded part of it and I was showing you my check stubs, and then I realized there's way too much personal information on the check stub, and I don't want that one person. I get that one crazy person showing up at the house when I'm on home time or something, and that ain't gonna be good. So I'm gonna just show you how much I made, tell you how many miles I drove, if I got detention or not, tarp fees, all that good stuff. Cool thing about Roehl, there's an 11-cent, this is so much fun. I get to watch people park all day long. But they give you 11 cents tax-free per diem, like 11 cents per mile. Yeah, tax-free per diem that they pay you. So you're starting out, you're only getting taxed on what, 31.5%, 31.5 cents per mile. So that's pretty cool. Then you get your tarp fees, detention pay, layover pay, like I'm doing right now. Layover pay, by the way, is if you show up or if you shut down within 50 miles of a shipper or receiver and you're there for over 24 hours, you get paid for that. I think it's $10 an hour, max of 60 a day or 80 a day or something like that. I can't remember. I need to look that up. Probably should have did that before I made this video, but I'm not gonna do it even after I edit this video. I'll probably do that before I complete my my trip sheet. There's Swift truck. It's cranked back up. Y'all hear that? Probably not. The real big thing though, shout out to Eric Schumer, my fleet training manager. If you get Eric as your fleet training manager, just know you're in good hands. I'm gonna miss that guy. He and I worked great together. My new fleet manager is Brian. I actually don't know Brian's last name. Brian, you got some big shoes to fill though, buddy. Eric and I worked great together. He gave me plenty of miles. I only had one crappy week, but that wasn't his fault, wasn't my fault. That was actually shipper and receiver's faults because they decided they were gonna take their sweet time. Yeah. So here we go with the check stubs. All right, let's dive into this website. Look at some monies. If it'll load, there we go. All right, this is their website. This guy right here won an ATV last week or the week before, I believe, for driver referrals. The Roehl does cool stuff like that. Everything on the app is on here though. Actually, more is on here. But as you go through the program, your app will kind of awaken and more things will be available, especially once you get with your OTR trainer. Come on, baby, you can do it. I don't know why that said September 23rd. So the way you get paid, your third week of class is when you get your first check for the $500 before taxes. Most of us got paid on Wednesday, or it hit our accounts on Wednesday. One guy it was Thursday, one guy it was even Friday, I believe. But yeah, after taxes, the first check was $444 on the third week. Once you go home, that'll be your second check, which is this, because you get a little break before you go back on the road with your trainer. I went down to the maintenance shop and got a few t-shirts. That's why this one is a little bit smaller than the first one. Then your first week out on the road with your trainer, you'll get your next check. Now, after I went home and I was about to go back out, I decided to change from National Dry Van to National Flatbed and Specialized. So I was actually home for about a week and a half, and then they flew me up to Gary. I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos. They flew me up to Gary for securement training. So that's where the 138 came from. So I actually got the 444 my second week when I was home, and then the 138 would have been my first week out with my trainer. But let's forget about that just for new people's sake. So your first week out with your trainer, you'll get your third week of pay, which should be around it's $500 before taxes. Then your second week out with your trainer, you'll get your training pay, which is $90 a day, as long as you're on duty for at least 6 hours. We worked 6 days, 6 times 9 is 540. So after taxes, mine was 444. I've only got one dependent, so that's why my tax. So what? That's $100 in taxes, a little less than $100 in taxes. Third week out with the trainer, you get your second week's pay. We worked 7 days, or drove for 7 days. So that's doing math in my head right now. 630, yeah. And I obviously purchased, I think I got a sweater or something. Then I actually went home. Same thing here. We worked 7 days. I got that check the first week I was out on the road by myself. And this is, your checks will come a week delay after you're out on the road. That's why they start paying you on the third week while you're in school. So that way you never go without a paycheck. So my first week out though, I got 2,477 miles. I think they tell you to expect around 1,800 to 1,900. And it's really, and this is just me talking, I could be completely wrong. I think it's adjusted to how you adapt to the situation, because it is completely different. Luckily, Darren Jones is a great trainer. He put me on the right path. And Eric Schumer is a great fleet manager. He also continued me on that path. I can't say enough positive things about those two gentlemen, because I mean, Eric and I work freaking great together. I'm gonna miss that guy. But yeah, second week I had 2,861 miles. The third week I had 1,280, but that was 2.5 days worth of work, because I took my home time. I stayed out 3 weeks. I got 4 or 5 days off. Took my home time. So that's why that one's a little short. If you don't work, you don't get paid. Pretty simple. Fourth week, I had 2,685 miles. Fifth week, which would be this $1,200 one, I had 3,136 miles. And then this right here, the 398, that's another home time week. That was 1,053 miles. That was 2 days and like an hour, I think it was. Yeah, I took my home time. The last week on here was my worst week yet. It was 1,881 miles, but anything that could have went wrong that week went wrong. Like I don't want to say I got held up at every shipper, but it was like that little weird 2-hour window at every shipper and every receiver. It just, the timing was very, very strange. But so the way you get paid when you're on the road is the pay period runs from completed loads from Sunday to Saturday. A lot of this stuff, like I think my first one was actually from a Friday to a Friday, and then the big one up here especially was from a Friday to a Saturday. And the reason I say Friday is because I picked up a load on a Friday and I didn't deliver it by Saturday. I delivered it on a Monday. So I didn't actually complete that load on the same week that I picked it up, if that makes sense. So yeah, so here you go, guys. Kind of gives you an idea of what to expect when you're going out. And now, just because I did that many miles doesn't mean everybody needs to do that many miles. I got accustomed to things very quickly, I feel, and I still got a lot of learning to do. So I think we all do. Never stop learning, never stop getting better. But yeah, the biggest thing is ask questions. If you got a question, ask it. There are dumb questions, but don't feel like you're about to ask a dumb question while you're driving around their truck, because they'll do their best to help you out. And if you're not getting your miles and you feel like you should be getting a lot more, say something. Say, hey, I want some more miles. And either you get them or you need to have a conversation with your fleet manager saying, okay, what can I do better to get more miles out of this? Like today, for instance, I would have preferred not to reset in Sydney, Ohio. But that's just the way it worked out. It really wasn't anybody's fault. But I called up my new fleet manager and I was like, look, for future reference, if we can avoid me resetting in rural communities where there's nothing to do, I would prefer to just recap and drive all weekend long. And then we can worry about resetting later when I'm at a terminal or something. I actually told him I would rather reset in Atlanta or Chicago only, and if I can't, to give me a long load and I will recap. But yeah, me and Brian had a great conversation when I met him earlier this week. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. Oh, let me switch cameras, guys. I got something to tell you. By the way, and all of you should know this, talking to recruiters, coming out of the GYCDL program, dry van is 36 cents per mile. I think reefer is 39 cents per mile. And then flatbed is 42.5 cents per mile. Goldbound girl said 43 cents she was getting 43 cents per mile the other day. And I've been meaning to ask about that. I need to ask about that this week. I want my half cent. I keep saying percent. Half cent. I'm going to ask Brian about that Monday. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then you get $17 for steel tarps. 20. Let me look that up real quick. It's $17 for a steel tarp and $24 for a lumber tarp. And that's $17 to put it on, $17 to take it off, or $24 to put it on, $24 to take it off. Then you get $20 an hour detention pay, which I was held up for 8 hours at a lumber yard last week. 8 hours. Got there at 3:15. Got completely done with everything at 12:15 in the morning. So I spent the night at this lumber yard. I'm not going to say who it was, but your boy was not happy about that. I did not get my shower that night. I was upset. I could have used PC in personal conveyance and drove to a pilot or a Flying J. I don't know. It was one of them, but it was 24 miles south of me, so I'd have pretty much lost an hour driving down there and then backtracking the next morning because I was going north. Yeah, and that completely screwed up my hours for the entire week, because don't nobody like looking for a parking spot at 9-10 o'clock at night, because I couldn't actually start my day until 10:15, and then I couldn't actually start driving until 10:30 because of pre-trip, which means my 14-hour clock would have ran out at midnight the following day, or the same day. Yeah, I think I shut down at 8 or 9. Anyway, so trip planning. This guy beside me just sat down in his chair. He hadn't been there for a while, and he does not look very happy. I'm scared to look over there at him. But yeah, trip planning is going to be how you make your money. Obviously, the more miles you drive, the more money you're going to make. But you got to be, I don't want to say fast, because fast can lead to carelessness when you're strapping and tarping and all that good stuff. Efficient. You need to be efficient with your strapping and your tarping. That way you can get in and out of shippers quickly. Sometimes it's just going to take a while. I think it takes me like an hour and a half, 2 hours to strap and tarp, like a full lumber load or pipe load, or it doesn't matter if I'm using lumber tarps or steel tarps. In a perfect world, yeah, hour and a half, 2 hours. Then now I've told y'all earlier in the video about my little trick to untarping and unstrapping now. It really saves a lot of time. And if somebody has a better way to doing that, please God, let me know, because I'm all about saving some time and getting back on the road. There are going to be days where you start your day late, or you use up your full 14-hour clock, and in a lot of places it's a bit difficult to find parking past, I'd say 6 p.m. And I usually, and there's gonna be some of y'all, this isn't for the new people, this is for the people already working for Roehl or other companies or whatever, that are completely against this. But I don't care. I like taking away that little bit of anxiety. And I pay for parking sometimes. I'd say 2 or 3 days out of every week, out of every 7-day work period, I'm paying for a parking spot. Why? Because I still got 6 hours to drive. If I shut down, let's do the math on this. Let's do the math real quick. So let's say I got 300 more miles to drive. That's $130, $140 extra I can make. So, but it's 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. I got 300 more miles I could potentially go, or I could shut down right now. Nobody's gonna say anything if I shut down at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. I could go ahead and find a spot, go ahead and shower, get up bright and early and start driving again. That's gonna screw my hours up for the next day. So what I do, I could drive 300 more miles, have that additional $140. What's that $14, $15 for a parking spot gonna hurt? So it's either hang on to that $15, lose the 140, so really you're losing 125, all because you don't want to pay for a $14, $15 parking spot. What kind of sense does that make? None. Now you could, and I do this sometimes too, sometimes you got to be Captain Make a Spot. It happens. My first week I did that a lot, and then I figured out how much parking was. Some places it's stupid. Some places it's like $20, $25. Then it's like, no, I ain't. But logically, the math still works out to pay for a $20 or $25 parking spot. So yeah, that's what I do. If y'all don't pay for spots, that's fine. I don't care. I'm still gonna pay for spots every now and then, because I would make it. It frees me up for more time and more miles later on in the week. And I had 1 week with over 3,100 miles, and I paid for three nights of parking. And that was it. I'm not saying I'm shutting down at 9 or 10 o'clock. Some nights it was 7:30, some it was 8:30. There have been 9 and 10 o'clock nights where I paid for parking, but once you get driving, you'll figure out what areas of the states have plenty of parking regardless what time you shut down, and what areas do not. Like the I-65 corridor from Indiana, middle of Indiana, to Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, top of North Carolina, top of South Carolina, West Virginia, Knoxville, Memphis area of Tennessee, not Memphis, Knoxville and Chattanooga area. If it's after 5 or 6, you're not going to find a parking spot. You better off paying somewhere. So that's my little tidbit on parking. But yeah, you got a trip plan, man. And plan your stops, your rest breaks. And when I say trip plan, I don't mean, and keep in mind, I'm still new at this too, so I'm still learning how to actually do it very well. There's probably other seasoned people out there, or seasoned drivers out there, that could explain this a lot better than me. But I usually start out every morning. I take a break every, 3, 4, 5 hours. If you got to use the bathroom, pull over and use the bathroom at a rest stop or a truck stop or whatever. But I don't actually plan on where I'm stopping at night until mid-afternoon, or when I'm approaching my last 3, 4, 5 hours. Because there's no point. There's too many variables during the day that could change. You could get an idea of where you're shutting down at night, but I really think that's a waste of time because of all the variables. There's traffic, there's weather, there's shippers and receivers holding you up. In a perfect world, we'd be in and out everywhere within an hour. But we're not always hauling shingles, so, which I unloaded some shingles in 20 minutes the other day. I got in and out in 20 minutes. I was like, what? And that began a bad day. That was the same day. So I sat for 2 hours waiting on a load in North Carolina. The same day I went to the lumber company and got held up for 8 hours. So that day was just completely screwed. Yeah. I got a nice detention check out of that though. I meant to tell y'all, I met the coolest guy in there doing laundry in the Loves a little while ago. By the way, you can use your Loves points on their laundry facilities, on their washers and dryers. Yeah, nicest man though. I think he was mid-50s, mid-60s. I don't know, but yeah. We talked about everything from the presidential election to guns, to which I'm pro 2A, if you couldn't tell. I love guns, obviously. Corona, truckers, dirty truckers. Some of y'all are dirty and you know it, and you need to clean your act up. You can quit throwing trash on the ground, peeing on the ground, and sweeping your trucks out and leaving the trash on the ground. You know who you are. You need to stop doing it. What else we talk about? I talked about his wife, my girlfriend, his kids, my kids. Actually, you know what? We didn't talk about his kids. He might not have any kids. I don't know. He was a super nice guy though. We had same views on everything. Cool guy. Yeah, just the nicest guy. We sat in there and talked for 2 hours, I think. Yeah, should have got his name. That guy was cool. I know he drives a tanker truck with super singles on it, but there are no tanker trucks with super singles out here anymore. So, in which I think it'd be a little weird if I ran up to a tanker truck right now and like, hey, you remember me from the laundry room? That'd be a little creepy. Yeah. Oh well. If you're watching this, nice to meet you, old friend. Come say hi if you see me again. Since I knew I was gonna reset here. The only reason I picked the Loves is I actually went 10 miles out of route, which would be a total of 20 miles out of route, because it was either stay at the Pilot and Flying J and have to pay for showers and stuff all weekend, or come to the Loves and get free showers all weekend. That's another thing, new guys, and actually other drivers. If you work for Roehl, you get 60 free showers a month with Loves. That's a pretty good deal. But yeah, so on the way up here, I stopped. There's a Walmart right just east of Pica. Parked in the parking lot, went inside, went grocery shopping, got some pictures developed. It was actually a decent Walmart. I found everything I wanted except for my pistachios. So I forgot my pistachios and walk into Love's. Actually, this happened a couple days ago. I ran out of pistachios. Went inside the Love's because I know they carry them. I was gonna get my big bag that I normally get for $8. No, Love's is like, we want $19.99 plus taxes. So I'm out of pistachios. I got to figure out how to get somewhere today to get those, because apparently Uber and Lyft is not a thing in Sydney, Ohio. So that's another thing. If you stay over here, bring you some walking shoes, because I think the weather isn't too bad. So I might. It's like a mile and a half up the road. I might get my cardio on today and go for it. I'm not running. I'll walk. I might walk briskly. Nah, I'll just walk regularly. I'll walk to the grocery store up there. Get my pistachios. There ain't anything else to do. Yeah. But yeah, the Walmart over there is pretty nice though. I wouldn't turn in by the fuel place. There's a Home Depot over there too. You can pull in behind the Home Depot, go behind the entire shopping center. That's what I did. There's so much parking back there, but there's signs everywhere saying, my truck's allowed to park back here. And really there's no way. You'd have to walk around the whole building anyway. So, but I drove all the way around, parked in the front, and then there was plenty of room to park up front, because another truck was parked there too. But there was enough room to, I don't want to say a U-turn, because it was I had a lot of space. It wasn't a U-turn. It was like a huge elliptical turn, I guess. But I was able to turn around and go back in the building. We might be able to see somebody. He got an actual coffee cup he's drinking out of. That dude look like Cheech from Cheech and Chong. Oh my God. That'd be funny if Cheech was a truck driver right now. Is he backing up? If he's backing up, I'm gonna show you. No, Cheech is not backing up. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I graduated the program last week. Actually, and I don't really remember if I mentioned it in one of my other videos or not. But while you're in phase 3, you do close quarters training at one of the terminals. I happen to do it at Geary. They got a bunch of concrete blocks set up. But it was me and Will out there. Will's a great instructor, by the way. And you pull into a very confined space, you make a right-hand turn, you back into a corner. And you get it straight, and there's cones set up and everything. After that, you drive forward a little bit, and then turn to the right by a trailer, and you got to pretty much back into a, I don't know, they got a little rectangle part cut out where you got to back into it, and there's 2 more cones there. And then you have to make a right turn out of that and back in between 2 trailers, and then you have to do a pull through. And it is close quarters. Funny thing about it is, I parked at a Flying J the other night that was tighter than that was. I had like 20 or 30 foot in front of me Luckily, the guy that I was parking beside walked up by me and helped me back in, because man, I was like, I was out there like 5 minutes pulling forward and pulling back, pulling forward, pulling back, like 3 foot increments, just because it was so tight. But he got out there and he was directing me, in like 30 seconds I was in the hole. So more people should do that. If you see somebody backing up, especially beside you, and they're taking their sweet time, get out and help them. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody needs help sometime. There was a group of like 5 or 6 of us at a TA in Kentucky or Tennessee, I think it was, and we all had to help each other back in. Just, I don't even know why they designed that parking lot like they did, because it was stupid. It was stupid. But we all got parked. Everybody was like, "Yay! Thanks for helping." Anyway, so Eric considered me graduated last week or whatever, and we did what they call a handshake, where he handed me off to Brian. I think that was Tuesday or Wednesday. I remember being in Virginia, and it was 28 degrees during the middle of the day. It's freezing. But yeah, me and Brian had a good conversation. He treated me like a human being, not a number. Like, he was asking me personal questions. I was asking him personal questions, trying to get a feel for each other. And I think it goes above and beyond and shows each person that, you know, we're not just working together. We're going to be working together, but in order for this to work out, I think our personalities, where we need to get to know each other a little bit better. Eric and I had the same relationship. We talked, in which the fleet managers are super busy, so try not to keep them on the phone all the time. I mean, if you got a problem, keep them on the phone. Don't be scared to talk to them. But develop a relationship. And if you feel like you're not being treated like a human being and you're being treated like just a number and that's not your thing, just open your mouth and say something. Not saying that'll happen. I'm just saying there's potential there. You know, some people are like that. Oh, that's how they function. But yeah, I think Brian and I are going to work out great. We had a good conversation. We've been having good conversations all week. Eric, if you're watching this though, buddy, I'm going to miss you. So that's it. Y'all saw my money. Now I do have other investments that I have. We're not going to talk about that. Maybe in a future video or something. But now at least all the new guys coming to Roehl doing the program can say, hey, I know that I'm going to have this coming to me at this time during school, during OTR training. Kind of release some stress and anxiety, because you know what you got coming to you. But yeah, that's it, y'all. As always, like, comment, subscribe, shoot me an email. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend. Going to the passenger side, doing the same thing. Is he done? Is he done? He's done. He used up all that 15 minutes.